Welcome to Kitchen Table Tangles. I'm Rick,
Hi, I'm Maria.
and today we're going to work with Dingbatz. It's an actual term from the type industry, and it is an ornamental design that would be mixed in with the type when it was hand set type. And today we're going to use the Zentangle method and create some Dingbats with a Z.
Okay, so this is something that I've done often in my work with my lettering, and I came across one the other day, and I thought, oh, people will love this. This is the coolest thing. So you could put them at the end of letters or greeting cards, or I mean, you could sign a check with them if you wanted to. But anyway, so I encourage you to
Or
do
put it in the memo section of the check.
in the memo section of the check. Yes, I encourage you not to use a ruler on this, and if you know the best you can do, drawing your shapes by hand, because you want some life to them. You don't want them to be so perfect that it looks like it was done on a computer. You just really you want the passion and the heart to come into this.
So if you look at this and think about what's going on, this is all aura and Hollabaugh technique, the drawing behind, and she's working with these little initial muka fronds there.
So here I am. I'm just going to add a little bit of weighting here, rounding. That almost looks like it's like stained glass with lead there to hold it to that frame. It just gives it a look and sort of a structure, right?
Well, you're moving from that or not just, but pure line to like line and a little bit of structure, and it's like it flows in there and it softens the hard corners, and it's a wonderful technique. And
So now what this did by putting on those two muka tendrils, it separated this into three sections, really very quite elegantly. So I'm putting in some poke leaf, which is one of my favorites because as you can see, it fits. Those leaves shapes fit so nicely into almost any shape. And you can see that I'm not doing exactly the same thing on both sides. It's approximately, I'm putting some leaves on both sides, and you don't have to worry about it being mirror image.
well, if
Your
you look,
eyes will do it.
and also if you go out and look at a tree or a bush, they're not mirror image either. So.
Yeah, so as long as it becomes a balance of some sort, don't get obsessed with the perfect number on one side or the other.
And adding a few little perfs in there, sort of like a textural aspect.
Right. And it gives it a nice background. So here I'm throwing in a couple of more mukas, just single mukas to separate it once again. I use muka to separate tiles often. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but on revisiting some of my work, you'll see it. So now aura is your friend. I'm going into aura these sections to just sort of make them a little bit of a different shape here.
And there's a little bit of interest, and then you can separate what you put inside the other shape. So there's that nice gap between the muka tendrils and this bit of diva dance that's sneaking into those spaces.
So I just ended up diva dancing the whole thing here and the rest of this. And I find the diva dance is just, it adds some drama without being too black. It's got some movement to it, and it's a nice character. I like it. I like what it does without being too fussy. And you can see I'm not being too fussy here. But when it's all done and shaded, it just comes together so neatly.
Well, it's a nice balance of light and dark here. And you can play with it in a Hollabaugh drawing behind.
I can even picture maybe four of these on a Zentangle tile, four dingbats. It gives it another direction to go in. They're just fun too. I mean, you could put one in the middle of a bijou tile. I think bijou would love that.
And it's a great, Saturday afternoon, sit down with a cup of tea and go online and research dingbats. And it's sort of like, maybe it was imagining what emoticons or emojis were going to be, that little bit of decoration that would be put in this, when books were just pages and pages and pages of text, there would be these lovely little elements that would be added just to break up the constant flow of text.
So we're going to put a whole bunch of different shapes, circles and ovals and triangles and just see where it goes, where it will take you.
And also, as Maria's tangling here, I just want to point out that when she does these different lines, she will rework it and retrace it, and just it adds a certain personality to it.
You almost caress the lines when you're drawing. Don't be afraid to go and mold them to be exactly the way you want them. Not to mold them to be perfect, but to mold them to be beautiful.
It's almost like, you touch something, or, it's almost like you're petting a beloved pet or something. It just feels good to do it. And so this drawing of these lines it's intimate, it's close, and you really become enjoying this interaction.
So I just want to let you know too here, ordinarily you would be spinning your tile and turning it and turning it. But I didn't do it on the film because it can get a little bit of, makes you a little dizzy to watch it on a camera. So when you're doing this, please feel free to turn your tile to make it easier for your hand. So I just wanted to, clarify that. This is really cool. We started with a, what is it, well?
Yeah, it was like the introduction to well. And so now you can see Maria going back and sort of revisiting that line, and, oh, I love you so much. That's beautiful. And let me just reinforce that. And so now she's going to go around it again. And you'll see that there's a really strong relationship between these dingbats and the whole use of the fragment that we use in fragment and reticula. You can pull any of those fragments and just develop it as its own lovely little element.
Well, also too, a fragment on its own, when you put it into a reticula, you tend to keep them pretty simple. But with this one, you could do all kinds of crazy stuff that you wouldn't have the room or the time to do. So you're doing one fragment. Just look at what you can do. Just to have fun with it.
And in exploring these dingbats, you will perhaps come up with new ideas for fragments.
So when you go to look up dingbats, by the way, the real thing doesn't have a Z on the end; it would have an S. But so just so that you get what you want to look for. But this is a Zentangled version of dingbats. And most of you thought probably Archie Bunker came up with that word, but it was in the language. So you can see here, Bijou's checking some of these out that I've done. Oh, he's going to fall over the edge. Oh, my goodness.
Just push
don't
back.
Fall, don't fall.
So that's based on a sunta, that dingbat.
That's a cool one, Ricky. Ricky did that one. And you can see I have different shapes and sizes and depending on where you're going to put it and how much. And oh, there he is. Hi, Bijou. These are also cool. I had so much fun doing these. I think you will too. Look at that oval one. It looks like it's going to pop in right off the paper. And you can see how simple they are. That we can all do these. Look at that. Wow,
that's
I
very
love
cool.
that. So that's just perk.
And corners.
And corners.
So it's just holding that on there.
And this was an especially big, large dingbat that we had done here at Zentangle Central.
Working on a project.
For a project we were doing. But see how pretty that can be.
So we invite you to explore that, look it up, and thank you for spending time with us. See you later.
Bye.